All right, now that we got the front differential for the gray van ready on the table to start prepping it, tearing it down, while that's in the other bay over here, we're gonna pull this white van in. Now that the engine is out of it, the inline six, we put all the suspension stuff in there while the engine and transmission was in it. But now that it's out, there's some exposed areas where Ivan can kind of get back in there, brace some stuff up a little better, and get to some spots that were a little difficult while the engine and all the running gear was in it. So we're going to take the opportunity now, going to drop this front end out of it, and he'll be able to get up in there and weld anything and everything that he wants to touch up on real quick before we start reassembling and dropping in that V8. She's up in the air now. Axle is out of the way.
What I'm going to be doing under here is just, with the motor in it, when we first got it, we mocked everything up and put it on, but I was unhappy with some of the welds, so I'm going to redo those, and now I can get into every crack and crevice with these. So before we do anything else, I'm just gonna finish up the welds here, and then we can get started on something else.
Sweet.
Just checking it out one more time.
Seth is over here working on the front differential that's going in the gray van. He's taking the hub out of it to take it apart, and this is a 10-bolt front end that's going into the van. We're doing this one a little bit different. It's still going to have the same four-wheel drive, everything the same, but it's going to be a lot lower. Tom up in Massachusetts is getting this van. Didn't want to be quite as high as what we have done on the other builds. So this one is going to be lower. He's going to run a 30 by 950 on it. So we're probably going to run 2-inch springs on this one to keep it low. We just got to make sure we don't have any problems with clearances with the front differential hitting the oil pan. But this front differential, there's nothing wrong with it. It came out of a running driving truck, performed fine. We're just going to tear it down and go through it, make sure it doesn't need anything, clean it up to get it ready to go into the van. Probably put a new set of hubs on it. But like I say, it's a 10-bolt. Basically, the identical front differential is a Dana 44. Some people will say, no, it's not, but it is. GM, when they made that, they pretty much copied the 44. I think the strength is exactly the same, no difference there. Matter of fact, from here out, 44 and 10 bolt are 100% interchangeable. So we're gonna clean it up and check it out. We checked the axle shafts, the U-joints in them look good, and this is just me from over the years of doing this. If those joints are good, I don't mess with them. If they're not dried out, greased up good and working properly, I'll leave them alone, because a lot of times you'll do more damage than good trying to put new joints somewhere where they don't really need to be. You can mess up an axle shaft. It's just sometimes they can be tough to get out. So if they're working fine, I say leave them alone. Some people will say not, but that's what we do. It's what I've been doing for 20, 25 years. So Probably won't replace those, but we'll replace everything else if it needs it. I can't even remember what this thing's geared. I think it's geared 308. I'm not sure. We're gonna pull the cover off and check it. But anyway, so that's taking the hubs off now, checking those because we're probably gonna put new locking hubs on it. And yep, that's what we're doing now. We'll keep it rolling and keep it coming. This is it's probably I think the first time Seth has ever done this 100% by himself. He's watched me do it from the time he could walk his whole life and helped me a lot, but I think he's doing this one on his own. So anyway, that's what we're doing down here. We'll keep everything updated. We're gonna try to document every little thing that we do on this build to show you, you know, for somebody that wants to do it yourself, so they can, if they want to tackle it, you'll know exactly how we do it. I'm not saying we do it the best way, the right way, or whatever. I can just tell you what we do works. It's been working good for us, and we'll show you how we do it. If you want to do it, hopefully it'll help you out. So we'll be at it. Did you finally get that clip out?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, now you got to get, he's taking the nut off now. Of course, you'll have to take the brake caliper off real quick to get that other nut off so the hub comes off. But looks like he's about to get this one knocked out. And it's a good thing we pulled it out, because when he pulled the hub out, it blew out. Shot the spring out. So we knew we were going to put new hubs in it anyway. And these are the cheapest version of the Warms hubs. They're good, but they're not like the premium ones. So we'll replace those probably with either mile marker or super winch. That's what we like. So we're if he gets through doing that, I don't know that we'll start on it today, but we'll probably start getting that aluminum head small block up in this thing. Probably start on that tomorrow and figure out what we got to fabricate on engine cross member and transmission cross member, and try to get this one knocked out as quick as possible for the guy. There's still a lot of work left to do on this one, and then of course we'll get the old gray one out there. I think I believe Tom's already named that one, so get it in here and get it started. I think gray matter. Yeah, he called it gray matter. So we'll get gray matter in here and start working on it. We got we picked up the springs for it today. There's the new leaf springs that'll be going in it. We got another one laying over there, but we went on and got 2 sets. So we'll be clicking along on it. I think while Seth is finishing up on that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the front cover off and just inspecting everything in there and see what gear ratio we got. I think for the size tires he's gonna be running, I think we'll be dead on for the gear ratio, but get the cover pulled off of it and see what we got. All right, I got the cover off the front differential, and everything in there looks good. There's no wear on the teeth. All the teeth look good. Spider gears are in good shape. No slack in those. So we're not going to do anything. We're going to clean it up, put new oil in it, and it'll be good to go. Seth is getting ready to take the spindle off, because this whole side, we'll replace this whole knuckle here, because with the way the vans are, we'll run a crossover steering. On the stock differential, they have that horseshoe type pitman arm on this side, and we do away with all that. We're going to replace that knuckle with a flat top knuckle. This is the crossover steering kit that we use. This will go on that side, and then this bolts to the top of this knuckle here, so we can run the tie rod over to the steering box to do the crossover steering. So that's what we do on all of them. It's just it's nothing special. It's just a crossover steering kit that we buy off the shelf. It works good. It's what we've used on every one of them we've done so far, and had no issues whatsoever. That's what we're doing. We'll get it all cleaned up. Everything looks good on this one. I think pretty much all we're going to have to do to this one is do put the crossover steering kit on it, clean it up, put new oil in it, new hub, probably turn the rotors. I do know we got to have some of these studs in here are in bad shape, so we'll probably just knock all these studs out, put new studs in it. all the way around. But the bearings look good. Everything in there looks good. So I think we'll be in good shape with it. It ought to come. Hold on.
Well, let me get it.
Yeah, give it a good snatch.
Ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Let's see. There you go. Yeah, this is the taper that Seth was talking about earlier. I think he said it in the early video. Why? I don't have any idea why they did that. But I always used Dana 44s and 10 bolts in the fronts of my mud racers. We always bought Mosier axles, which, you know, they were the same size, but they didn't have that taper here because every time we broke an axle, we always broke it right there. I don't know why they did them like that, but they did. But for stock use, that'll be fine. In a mud racer, we were doing things with it that shouldn't have been done. But anyway, we'll get this knuckle off and get the other one put back on there for the crossover steering. All right, we got the knuckle off. We didn't show that, but the way you do it, you just take a hammer, just take a ball peen hammer or a big hammer and just keep hitting right there and hitting and hitting. And the more you hit it, it'll eventually just fall right out.
Yeah, this one, I mean, you see where it hit the ground, it just fell right out of there.
Yeah, you just gotta, it'll be in there pretty good. You just gotta knock the hell out of it and it'll fall out. But here's the new knuckle. We'll press the new ball joints in and get it mounted on there. And Seth's knocking some of the grease off the front end. We're going to just go ahead and just replace all these studs in the front hubs. And the way you do it, the way I do it, I just take a hammer and knock them out. The rotor, it's hard to hold the phone and do this, but anyway, the rotor just comes right off of the hub once you. There you go. I got the rotors off the hubs. Once you knock all the studs out, you just hit the rotor with the hammer and it'll fall right off of the hub. I just couldn't hold the phone and do it all at the same time. But it's pretty simple. I think we're going to replace the rotors. One of them could probably be turned. The other one's pretty bad. We'll probably just go and put new rotors on it and put all new studs in it. But that's where we're at.
Man, if anybody has a good solution for cleaning axles, getting grease off, other than taking them completely apart and taking them and getting vatted or something like that, let us know. Because I spend a lot of time with one of these in all the crevices. I get dust in my eye, mud from the pressure washer, so I'm open to suggestions, but I get in here with hand tools, electric tools, and just clean it the best I can, then paint it. But I am definitely open to suggestions. It takes some time to get that grease and dirt and road grime off of these things.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we'll have the right equipment to do that, but right now we just have to do it the old-fashioned, hard, old-school way. But you do what you got to do, but we'll get it right. And I hadn't been telling everybody. I mean to say it every time. Just please like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate everybody that has been subscribing and liking the videos so far. Really surprised at how much we've gotten in the first 30 days of the channel. So if y'all just keep on hitting that like button and subscribe, we appreciate it. You good there, Ivan?
What?
You good?
Yep. Yeah, check them out. That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty cool. I just
Plugging them up?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah. We're moving along.
All right, that's a good stopping point for today. I haven't finished up some of the welds and think he may have a few more things, I don't know. But shutting down the shop. Gonna jump on the rear end, cleaning, or the front end, cleaning all that tomorrow, and we're done for now.
right, we Ivan's been over here working on the 67, doing some things. We just uncrated the transmission that's going into the 67.
And boy, it's pretty.
It is nice. They,
It's sparkles.
we just got it up on there. Well, they did. They got it up on the transmission jack. What we're gonna do is we'll get that thing on the jack, and I've been making a list of what we need for the engine here. We're waiting on one motor mount. Got to pick it up at lunchtime, so at lunch we're going to pick the motor round up for this engine here that's going into 67, and then we'll roll it. We're going to roll it under there on the engine stand, lower the van down on it, get the motor hopefully bolted up where it's going to go. I think we've got it figured out what we got to do on the cross member where it'll work, and then once we do that, we'll get the transmission, get it bolted up in there, and see what we've got to do as far as making the engine, transmission cross member to get it all up in there. So this is going to be a trial and error process, and in and out probably several times. But this is part of doing the fabrication that you have to do. Unfortunately, this is the part that costs the money because it takes so much time to do it. But we will keep it posted and keep it going. Seth's about got the front differential cleaned up over here, so we'll clean it up a little bit better, get it ready for paint. All the parts are ordered, should be here. We'll get it back together and get it ready to go in the gray van. And that's what we're doing.
So the tires are going to hit the ground before.
Yeah, the tires will hit the ground before. You're right, it is going to come this way. Yeah, it's just, let's see if we can get it down. We'll deal with the head.
Yeah. Okay.
This throttle linkage and stuff for the 6-cylinder.
It's got to come out.
It's hitting the back of the block. It's not going to come down any further.
All right.
Get it out of the way.
You ready to go up?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to unbolt that?
Yeah.
Okay. What size it look like?
What we're dealing with, this had a 6-cylinder in it.
Probably a half-inch.
And all of this linkage over here on this side, this is what's the throttle linkage. This was for the transmission. This was for the shifter. And none of that's going to work. So we're just going to get it out of the way, because what we'll probably do, we'll probably use a cable for the accelerator and a cable for the shifter. So we're going to just get all of this out of the way, and we'll redo all that.
9/16.
You got it?
Oh yeah. About this. Yeah.
Refabricate everything on that. And now, once we cut that thing up there off, we should be able to slide this rod out.
Nice rod.
All right, be careful.
Gotta be plugged. It won't work without electricity, y'all. That's what I was doing. I got distracted on the pin. Don't do that. They don't need nothing necessary.
Oh man, are you serious?
Like what?
What in the world? We're gonna have to take it. Go back up. Okay. Yeah, I think.
Hi.
Howdy.
You done slinging insulation?
I'm slinging insulation on you. Yeah. Well,
I don't care about me. With this
Oh,
motor.
Sorry,
Go
sir.
go down the old motor throw.
don't let it happen.
I mean, I don't want nothing to go down in the old, down there, get it messed up.
Oh, I keep on forgetting I'm holding the light and camera.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to take this voltage regulator.
Not you.
Fabrication is fun. Fabrication is neat. Everyone should do it all of the time.
That didn't rhyme.
It's a
Haiku.
It's a haiku. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Hold this.
I'm sad that I do remember what the heck that is. Push it back because of the way these arms are. These arms are angled in this way. If you turn around, it'll angle it. See what I'm saying?
So push.
On the mount itself, see them arms, how they slant in to the mount,
Yeah.
these arms.
Yeah.
Right there. So it's going to push it on back.
So they turned around.
See what I mean? They're like this now. If you turned it around, they'll be... Right? This is the forward mount.
Yeah. All right. Well, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, we're going to have to reconfigure.
We're gonna have to completely. We're probably gonna have to use the either modify this or use the mounts like we use in the other vans.
Okay.
All right. So what we were doing when we were setting the van down to line the motor up. If you look, come around in front right here. This is actually the center point of the radiator. That's where the center of the engine needs to go. In all the vans, the motors are mounted over to the passenger side to give room for your feet on the driver. So as you can see, when we were setting it down, the crank, the center of the motor, it was right here. So with that engine mount that we were going to try to use, it had the motor pushed too far to the driver's side. So we need to be over this way. So what we're going to end up doing, I think we're just going to not use this mount and just fabricate a new one, just like the ones that we use in the other vans when we did the four-wheel drive on it, so we can get the motor over position. That way we can position the motor exactly where we want it. So that's where we're at. Just a setback. It's just going to take us a little bit longer to figure it out. We'll get it.
Okay.
Well, when out there, we don't have an empty transmission case, but I've got this 4-speed bell housing, and we'll just use this for mock-up, because if we get the clearance right here, everything else from there back should be fine with the transmission. So this is what we'll bolt this to the block and use it to do the mock-up. Should be good. Well, we'll get that block out, get this one out of the way. I think. Man, I believe it would be easiest to just, if we clean that table off over there, okay, set that motor, just set everything up on that, no jump. Hey, somebody answer me!
I said absolutely. I was chewing gum, I'm busy and stuff, yeah.
Alright, that gummit.
All right.
What we're doing here is, that's pretty close. You can see how the motor is, the motor tilts back, but the intake is angled so the carburetor will sit straight on there.
Anything is good.
So we need to
Down a little bit.
That's it.
can probably smash it to the.
Yeah.
I believe that's close enough for a shop this size. Okay, I think what we've decided to do, we've got the motor sitting here on the table where we can work off of them. These are the factory holes where the factory mount went to. And what Seth is getting ready to do is what we decided to do. We're going to use the factory mount here, but the mounts that go to the engine just won't work with the V8. So what we're going to do, we're just going to grind these rivets off, get these pieces out of the way, go ahead and bolt this to the van, get the motor positioned where we want to, and just work off of this up to the motor and make the mounts. And that's what we're going to try. If that don't work, we'll go another route, but I believe that'll be fine, and I think it'll look good and sleek and pretty close to factory. So that's what we're going to try to do, and well, let's see how it goes. We've got the cross member bolted up here. So what we're going to do, the motor is just resting on the table. So what we'll do now is we'll just position the motor on the table, jack it up, set it down, or whatever, however it needs to go in the position it is. And we'll just work from this cross member right up to these motor mounts and mount the, to get the engine mounted. Looking from up here, Ivan, it does look like the front of the motor could come down just a hair.
With this,
yeah,
it is a little bit.
Yeah, I think those pieces, those thin pieces we got in there, taking them out might put it on. Yep. Looks like we've got all our clearances. We know the straight gear bell housing isn't exactly like the automatic, but we feel like we got the clearance there that we need. So it's positioned right with the radiator. We've got enough room from the block to mount the water pump, the pulleys, and the fan, and we'll be about 1 inch off of the radiator, I think. So looks good from up top down in there. So I think we're good. If we're not, we'll rip it out and do it again. It ain't like we've done stuff like that before, but I think we've got it figured out pretty good.
I know. I just sometimes.
All good here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good.
Late, we're gonna wrap it up here in a little while. We think we figured out after a couple trial and error runs what we're gonna do on the motor mount here. I think we'll try to at least get one side tacked up this evening before we call it quits. We're pretty tired because we've been racking our brain pretty good trying to figure this out, but I think we got it figured out. I think we've got it figured out here where it's gonna work. Ivan's gonna get it in there, weld it up.
Roll the wire speed back a little bit.
Okay.
Just, I mean, like in the halfway mark.
Yeah, it's good. All right, it's Thursday morning at the swim shop. We're gonna get started. Seth and Ivan are gonna start on the driver's side of the 67, getting the motor mount tacked in for the motor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got one more piece to weld, and then she's
Yeah,
done.
Lunch guy was all distracted. Woo.
We got everything to button up the front end.
Nope.
Cool.
Still waiting on, got the new calipers. Waiting on the rotors and the other wheel studs. I think that's it, just the rotors.
Cool.
And the steering stabilizer.
And the steering.
Steering stabilizer is supposed to be here today. I think the rotors will be here until, I think it says Sunday.
But if all goes smooth, we'll have that motor, this motor, dangling in between the frame rails.
By January, yeah.
By January of 2053, we will have this done.
Yeah.
Because
it's going
all we
fast.
do is hurry up, build stuff, wait on parts.
Yeah, it's going super fast. Right. Seth's got the ball joints pressed into the knuckle here. Greased up and ready to go. He's getting ready to install that on the front diff. Alright, Seth's got the knuckle back on, the arm for the crossover steering. He's bolting the spindle and the backing plate on it right now. I think me and Ivan are going to roll this. We've got the engine cradle we made up on there. We're going to roll it under there and set it down on there and see if everything lines up and start, maybe bolt the transmission to it and start getting the what we got to do to make the cross member for the transmission. But we are we're doing things. We're doing stuff. We're doing
Man,
things. We're doing
getting
things.
it done.
Alright, we got the motor bolted up on the engine mount. In the van, still on the engine stand.
Yeah, so she's bolted. Now we just got to get this everything out. But no transmission means it's not supported at the back, so got to strap it down.
We're gonna try to strap the back up.
Oh, there it is. Look there.
Herbie there.
Yeah, Herbie. Yeah.
Yeah, ploopity ploopity ploopity.
All right. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to kick the line. Ooh, that was scary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, let me jump in there and look too. It looks like it's good. I think we can raise it up and we'll be all right.
I'm still not gonna stand under it, but yeah.
What? Come on.
She is small blocked swapped.
What does it look like?
Oh, it looks good. It's what dreams are made of.
I don't know though. It ain't threading in too well. Let me just try.
Well,
Oh yeah, okay.
golly, we're so close. We are.
Is it that close?
It's all. I mean, We might, you can see right here. We may just cut, well, we cut that out, but we can't. We've pretty much got to be at that angle.
Right.
The way the radiator's mounted.
It's sitting in the van like it's supposed to.
Pretty much
so
got to be there.
Well, we did on Timothy. You even had to, which you've always had to modify that on the G series. So
Yeah,
we
that's
figured
it.
we'd have to do.
That's at a snug, so what we got? We got plenty of room here. Just not room here.
Yeah, we're touching here.
Oh, for sure.
Serious? Ancient whistles of squall.
Just slicing and dicing under here,
Yeah, boy.
making room for
Now,
the old
it'd be a
trans
lot
adapt.
easier if there wasn't a big old. I better not say it. A big old. I can't say that either. That's in the way, man.
Yeah, it's up there, ain't it?
Oh yeah, that's just right there in the way. It really. Yeah. There's no other way around her. I'm just gonna have to cut the shaft off
All
to
right,
get to this right here,
and then we'll weld that shaft back on.
and then try to re-spline it and all that. That'll be fun, won't it?
All right, sounds good. What was that?
Hey, you gonna have to move this thing.
What thing?
You've already moved something, ain't you?
Gonna have to move what?
What'd you do?
Transmission.
What did you do that for all by yourself? You're getting a call.
You know what? I think I'll be all right if I just stay
You
literally
cut it.
right
It's
up
in there.
against the shaft. Huh?
You gonna cut it while the transmission's in there?
No, not if I can help.
What was you talking about? I had to move.
The transmission.
Very good.
Now that we're on the same page.
Yeah, let's start a little bit, just so we don't.
Okay, you got it. Looks clear to me. Look at that, plenty of room.
I want to get the metal down inside there.
Plenty of room to slice it on open. Well, she'll fit now.
Oh!
Whoa, look out, there's a transmission right there.
Oh man, how dangerous! Goodness sakes! Whoa! Freaking action!
Where are the stopping points? Can we use that tape?
Yeah, we can use that tape.
Take it.
Now we're at stopping point on the 67. We got of course you've seen we got the motor in it. We've got the transmission up, and it's in the position where it's going to be. And I had originally said, I think I even said it on the some of the other videos, that we were thinking about using a Jeep transfer case in this. And since then, after when we were putting the motor in, I thought maybe we would be able to use a 208 transfer case, which is this. We've got one, and we could use this. The problem that we will run into, we could use it and it would work just fine, but the way it is, it's going to hang down so low, which would work fine. It would be fine, but honestly, to me, I think it would look like crap, and I don't want it to look stupid when somebody walks up to see it and see this transfer case hanging down real low. We could clock it to get it up higher and tucked under the van more, but then we're going to get into a situation where it's going to be so close to the frame because it's not real wide under there. So I think we've gone back to going with the Jeep transfer case. This is a Dana 20 Jeep transfer case. Jeep used them for, golly, they had the Dana 18 first, then they switched to the Dana 20, and probably, I don't know, so the Jeep people will correct me, I'm sure, late 60s, early 70s, they went to the Dana 20, and they used it all the way up until 1980, when they switched to the Dana 300, which was basically the same transfer case same size, but instead of having a gear that went in and drove it, it's got a shaft and a round bolt pattern that bolts it up like a 208. And it also has a 2.62 low range, where the Dana 20 had a 2.03, I believe it was. The Dana 300 and the 208 both have a Dana 2.62 low range, which in this application, with what he's going to be using it for, the low range doesn't matter. The Dana 20 would be just fine. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do some looking on the internet. I've run Dana 20s for years and know all about them, but I don't know if they make a cable shifter for the Dana 20. And the reason we're going to have a cable shifter is because that the motor sits so far back. If you'll look, the transfer case, of course your driver is up here. The transfer case is going to be in the vehicle at about this point. Well, we can't have a shifter sticking up here and him have to crawl in the back to shift it into four-wheel drive. So we've got to figure out a way to shift it to four-wheel drive from the driver's compartment, which the only way I know of to do that would be with a cable. So I think what we're going to do is either go with a Dana 20 or a Dana 300 transfer case. Either way, we're going to have to buy an adapter for them. If somebody's got a good used adapter for a Dana 20 or a Dana 300 to a 700 R4 transmission, we would definitely be interested in it. Because those adapters are about $680. Would hate to have to spend that kind of money. I want to keep the cost down as much as I can for the guy. We had everything and have everything to make the 208 work, but it just, I just don't think it would look good. It's going to hang down solo. It's going to be hanging down, what do we measure? 8-9 inches below the body line, and that's just not gonna look good.
I mean, shoot, the lift arm's under there, and it would be hanging below the lift arm.
Yeah, hanging low.
Well, even Ivan made a good point. It'd be just about even with that axle tube there, and that's not gonna look cool.
It just won't look good. And I'd even thought about doing a Dodge 208. Dodge used the 208 too. The only difference, the Dodge 208 transfer cases, they had a fixed yoke on the back instead of the slip yoke like the GM transfer cases had, and they were not clocked down quite as much. They were a little flatter, and that might be a route we go. I don't know. I'll have to just see how much it hangs down because I don't want it to look bad. I ran a Dodge 208 in my mud truck because it had the fixed yoke. I just split the case apart and put the Turbo 400 input shaft in it because the 208s have a 23 spline shaft. For the Dodges, for the Chevrolet, for Turbo 400 and the SM 465, they've got a 32 spline shaft, and for the 700 and the 350, they've got a 27 spline shaft. But they're all the same. You can split the case and change those and interchange them from brand to brand if you want to. But as it stands right now, I think we're going to go with a Jeep transfer case. They're small, compact, they're tough. It's just, this will never break the transfer case. Something else will break before the transfer case breaks. We just got to figure out which one's going to be the best, the most cost-effective way to do it for the customer. So that's where we're at now. It's about quitting time here Thursday afternoon, and we're gonna. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
How about you? Seth's about got the front differential ready for the gray van that we're gonna do, the G20. He's about got it all together. We're waiting for a few more parts on it. So in the meantime, we may get this one to a point where we'll roll it out and get the gray van in here and start working on that because we were planning on working on both of them at the same time anyway. But I want to do a little more research on this and get it right. But we got the motor in it. Motor in there. It looks good. Sitting in there good. We're happy with the way it's mounted.
All in all, a good day.
Yeah,
2 good days.
It's a good day. I mean, this is part of fabricating. I mean, this is what it's all about, trial and error, and it's just what it takes. If you want to do this kind of work, be ready to spend a lot of hours, a lot of time, making a lot of mistakes, doing things 3 or 4 times before you figure it out to get it, to get it where you need to be. I mean, I know a lot of times some people probably think it's outrageous the price it costs, but the guys that have figured this stuff out, they've paid their dues, hours and hours in their shop trying to figure it out and making mistakes and messing stuff up. So just think about that when somebody hits you with a price for something. Just think about what the people that went through to figure it all out went through, because I know what I've gone through over the years to figure this stuff out. But anyway, that's where we're at. We'll keep you posted on it. Yeah, you know, it would have been so much easier if it would have had the directions in the box.
Yeah.
How to fool
Because
around.
I'm not one of those people that throw the directions away. I read them from
Ooh.
cover to cover
Oh,
before I
God.
start. So if we would have had the directions, we would have been so much more ahead of the game. All right, let me take this.
I don't read directions.
Take this. What?
I don't read directions, man.
I don't read them either.
If I'd read directions, I wouldn't learn how to put together nothing. Because it already tells you. There's no creative juices flowing. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Directions are there for you, for your benefit. And you should always take advantage of them.
By using them as fire starter.
Oh, God. See, that's why you'll never be anything, Adam.
Dang.
That attitude right there is what's going to kill your future.
Oh, I mean, I have a good work ethic. I eat well. I'll be alright.
All right. Get back to work.